What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about OnyxCoin today, XCN USD. Surprise, surprise, I know. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Let's get into it, okay? It's the 25th day of February, and here we are with about 10 hours left in the day, just under there. 00494 is the price. And I swear, call me crazy, man, but I swear we've been here before. I swear we've been in this exact price area for a damn long time. Um, it is nice to see the price up here, though. It is nice to see this little bit of recovery. I wouldn't call it a bullish engulfing candle necessarily, but it's pretty good looking nonetheless. I do like that we've held this higher low here. Yes, we did get a lower low here. Yes, we did get a lower low here, but overall, it's still higher lows, right? It still is. It's like this here is clearly a higher low than this low, even though it's lower than all these lows, right? So in the grand scheme of things, we look good. This rounded bottom idea is protected. It looks great. It's phenomenal. We're getting a lot of volume on the buying candles. We're not getting really any volume at all on the selling candles. And again, real quick, brief explanation. Imagine back here before all of this. Oh, okay. Why? I don't know why I didn't do it there. There we go. Before all the bullish stuff happened, okay? I'm going to ask you. Imagine January. There was a massive, massive rally. Imagine all the people who FOMO'd the top, who then subsequently sold, as we continued to jump, right? There were probably people who bought here that sold right here and never looked at OnyxCoin again. There were probably people that held and held and held, and then they sold here, and then maybe they FOMO'd in back here, or they sold here and they never looked at it again. All I'm trying to say here, really, guys, without going over every single divot that we have here, is imagine the average market participant in this crypto game and tell me, do you think they've held all of this time, right? I've been holding OnyxCoin since this back here, since around this time, or maybe it was just before the pump or just after the pump. I can't remember. And I know that statistically speaking, I am low on the percentile of the average participant in OnyxCoin. Most people haven't held that long, right? Most people sold whenever we broke this low. Most people sold when we got lower. And whenever we got below this low, man, there was heavy capitulation. Economic Ninja sold, right? And then I'm sure a lot of his constituents sold as well. I don't know if he bought back in or not, actually. I should probably figure that out. I don't know. But shout out to Economic Ninja. There were a lot of people that sold here. It seemed really, really grim. And again, the volume is just minuscule. It's completely gone. But we did see a pickup in volume here for a little brief time, relative moments here, more than what we had seen on average on this drop here. So there was a little bit that kind of like last ditch effort, what we call capitulation at this area here. Imagine that we're here, we're below this low, and we're here from November until January, the beginning of November to the very first day of January. Anybody who wanted to sell because we broke below this low, they sold already. And anybody who wanted to buy, they were aware that we are finding support at prior resistance here, prior resistance here, prior support here. This is the area to buy. The whole perspective I'm trying to offer here is that anybody who wanted to sell, anybody who's been involved with OnyxCoin, at least in my opinion for the last year, I would think 90% of the people, if not 99% of the people who had interest in selling, who were emotional, who were weak hands, not weak people, just weak hands, who made the wrong decisions and sold, at low prices, they probably did that already. Now fast forward, okay? We're in that same area now. We had a little bit of a pump. Okay, so there's probably some FOMO that happened. People who sold down here or sold at other points, they see OnyxCoin pumping, the rest of the market's not pumping. Okay, that's cool. But what we can for sure say is that the level of volume that came in here does not match the level of volume that came into the downside. So the amount of people who FOMO'd and probably panic sold, they're probably already out of it. Or if anybody FOMO'd back in and the price did go down, they've probably learned their lesson that, okay, this thing will come back, it will grow. We do have this rounded bottom kind of dynamic going on. The only question, again, that I'm trying to ask here, this grand point, this story that I'm painting, this picture that I'm painting, is that our low here is at prior points of resistance, macro resistance, very significant resistance. This, my friends, is Good structure. That's what they call good structure. We take the relative low here to the relative high here, and you can see that you pulled back and bounced right off your golden ratio level. Again, great structure, golden ratio. I don't like that we found resistance here and we came back down to the golden ratio, but whatever, we're still holding the golden ratio support. And right now, actually on this week, we have a wick down. Look at all the wicks down here that we're finding support on. We have a wick down at the golden ratio. We're coming back up. We got 4 days left. This is actually a really good week right now, you guys. My question again, and I hope it has more impact now than if I didn't give any of this prelude, any of this, what is it, any of the precursors there. My question to you now is, who is left to sell? Who's going to sell? Who has bought over the past year, who has bought over the past 2 years, 3 years? Who's going to sell here? You already had your chance to sell there. You know, it pumped and what? You didn't sell there, so what? Now you're going to sell at the same price with higher lows? I don't think so. Who's selling here? I would argue even if we went lower, who's selling here? The people who are involved in OnyxCoin right now, they're just buyers. That's all they are. Maybe there's some people who are selling because they get their staking rewards, and if you have enough OnyxCoin, that can come out to a decent monthly sum, and maybe some people are selling on principle. Okay, I get it. The team, the people chain, the people who have the most OnyxCoin, they're probably doing that just to keep the lights on and keep things, you know, marketing and all that stuff, whatever. Pay their organization, whatever it might be. Sure, that probably happens to some degree. The amount of Onyx coins that get released every month is a very small amount in comparison to the total supply. So I'm not really concerned with that, right? Again, who is here to sell? We look at the we look at the volume, and there's just really not any volume at all. The volume is coming in. All these spikes, they happen on days where there's some buying pressure going on, especially down here at these lows. I think we're seeing the momentum shifting, and that momentum, if I'm right, will be validated. The shift will be validated. I mean, really, ultimately, it'll be validated once we get above this high, but I think it'll be validated once we get above this high. We get above that high, now we maintain these higher lows, we're breaking out of this downtrend, and now we have higher highs. Getting above 0.006 is very important. I know it's exciting to see 4.67% up. I know it's exciting, right? But the reality is we could still move lower. We could still move lower than these lows and still have some sort of a rounded bottom. It doesn't need, we don't need to prevail with these lows here. But I think I speak for all of us whenever I say, again, who is selling? There's probably nobody selling. So then if there's no sellers, what's left? There's only buyers. You have a very easy time moving the price up. Mark my words, guys. It's the same rhetoric here as it was here. And I know it's wild because we're in the exact same price area. But when there's no sellers left, you have a very easy time moving higher. Let's show you how quick and easy this was. Look at the amount of volume. That was a lot of volume in the grand aspect of all this time. But in the grand aspect of what we've seen OnyxCoin produce before, that wasn't much volume. We got the same move here that we did here with about half the volume, probably even less than half the volume. That's because all the sellers are gone. Here, not all the sellers were gone. There were still some people who, maybe they bought here, maybe they bought on the low. There were other reasons to buy here. Here was a lot more depressed. A lot more. You hung out at these lows for a lot longer than you hung out at these lows for, right? Then you went just below this level, right? A lot more depressed down here. When there's no sellers left, there's only buyers. This is the type of price action that buying produces. When the buyers step in, and they will, when Goliath mainnet comes online, which it will, guys, it's the end of February. Mainnet is supposed to be released in Q1. The clock is ticking, and right now, ticking to a tune that's less than 35 days away. Something's going to happen. You buy the hype, you sell the news. And mark my words, man, there's going to be, if not a higher high from this, at least some type of productive move that some gains could be made from if you're buying from here. It would be very disappointing if we got above here just to get stopped at prior resistance and prior support here. It'd be very disappointing to provide a lower high. Be very, very disappointing. From the current price, that disappointing move would be about a 60% move. It's not, it's disappointing, but it's still good. There's still something to be made from that. I don't think that's where we're going, clearly, My expectation is that we're going to move up. We're going to see prices all the way up at 2 cents here, and I think we will move very similar to how we moved here. Maybe it'll be a little different. Maybe it's all at once, one fell swoop. That's how OnyxCoin likes to do it. Maybe it's a little bit more methodical, and then once we get above this high point here, once we break above there, that's whenever the quick move will happen. I don't know. But I do assume that we're going to be moving higher. We're looking at this on a daily time frame. The RSI is bouncing off the oversold zone. It's resilient. It's definitely not bullish here, but it is resilient at least, right? You've got every excuse to get oversold, and you're just not doing it. When you get near the oversold zone, you're getting candles that look like this. You're getting candles that look like this. The MACD is building bullish momentum again, which this, honestly, you guys, looks really good. Bouncing right like that with your oscillators looks phenomenal on the daily time frame. Stochastics are crossing up. Once we get out of the oversold zone, that's when the stochastics actually will take on a bullish shape. Right now, not so much, but there's a little hope. We look at the 4-hour time frame. Stochastics are great. The MACD, or sorry, the RSI, you did have, again, I don't know, is this bullish divergence? Is it not? Whatever. Some type of bottoming formation nonetheless, and you're breaking out right now. I think it persists. I think it continues. If I'm wrong and we go below this low, then prepare for prices that could be below this low. But I still believe, again, even if we were to go below this low, I still believe that we could see, again, this would be a lower low here. We could still see some sort of a rounded bottom. I'm not drawing it the best, but still some type of a rounded bottom. I don't believe if, first off, my call is that we will not go below these lows. I think those are the lows. I don't think we go below them, but my call would also be that if we did go below those lows, it would not be by much. It would not be for long. We would recover. And it would be a process of this overall longer rounded bottom kind of endeavor that we're in right now. Right now, the goal is to get above 0.006. We get above there, then we can celebrate. Until then, everything else is just noise. We can move up 10% today. That's not as cool as it'll be when we get above 0.006. Okay, we could be all the way up here, and then it's a 3% day that causes us to get above there. I would be more excited about the 3% day than the 10%, 20% day that it takes to get us up there. Because getting above this level really, really matters. Wouldn't it suck if we got right above that level, it was a fake out, and then we dropped? Wouldn't that just be terrible? That'd be sad. We want to, when we get above this level too, we want to see volume kind of start to grow. That's what we want to see. Until then, it's all noise. So I got nothing else for you guys. I'm just making noise at this point. I'm going to end the video there. Hit that like button, subscribe. Remember the structure, okay? The structure of this chart is solid. It's actually very solid from a macro perspective. I mean, there's not any crypto charts, there's not many crypto charts, I should say, that from 2023 to now look like this. There's not many of them look like this, guys. Like, and not many of them, yeah, they've all broken critical areas of support. And not that we didn't here, we did. But they're not finding support at critical resistance areas. It's a lot more bullish of a chart than what we see on average. And again, OnyxCoin has outperformed the average altcoin since October, or maybe since November, I should say. Maybe it's on par. Let's see. I'm actually kind of curious. How much have we dropped since October 10th? From the low, 36%. Yeah, you might be on par with the average altcoin since the mayhem of October 10th, but November to December and even the January lows were actually still above those lows. So that's outperforming the average altcoin, the average coin, and even Bitcoin over the past quarter of a year. At these low areas where you're finding good structure, where you expect to consolidate, not just on the XCN USD chart, but on the XCN BTC chart too, if it'll let me. Okay, I don't know why it won't, but that's okay. Oh, it's because I didn't put in the, that's why, the dash. You look at this on a weekly basis as well, and it's in log, but it's not. It says it's in log, but it's not, man. You're finding support at prior resistance here as well, talking about structurally sound. I wish it was in log, because then the fibs would work, but I can't draw the fibs. If I were to draw the fibs from a low to a high, you'd see that this was also at a golden ratio support zone, but it's not in log. Let's see what it is in the non-log format. Where are we? And I know it says we're in log, but we're not. That's not log. I mean, you can see it around the 886. That's cool. Anyways, I got nothing else for you guys. I hope you liked the video. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Just waiting for some key components to arrive. I think the weekly time frame will turn a lot more bullish once we get above 006. But until then, we're just fumbling around in the darkness. Hit that like button. Thank you all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.